Good morning, everyone. It's Allison Edwards here in Nashville, and this morning I'm going to read my new book called Marcy's Having All the Feels. I think many of you might already have a copy, but if you don't have a copy, you can order one today on Amazon, and you can also go through NCYI, who published the book. And today we're going to do a reading, and then we're going to do some activities based on the book. And so before I start, I wanted to tell you that the activities are on my website. I just downloaded them as a free resource. So you can go and get a whole bundle of activities. Let me show you the resource bundle. After you read this book, after we read it, you can go and download this for free and have a variety of activities that you can use to go along with the book. We're actually going to do an activity today after the reading together. And I've already kind of started working on it. So I'll show you kind of what I came up with, and let's get started. I hope all of you have had a good week. I know this is a big change for all of us to be home. And Marcy is going to tell us a little bit about her feelings and talk to us about the ones that she wants to go away and the ones that she wants to keep. So here we go. Marcy's having all the feels. I love this first page because you can see her and she's thinking about her day. And then you can look below and you see the dog right here. This is actually my dog, Walter. I have a therapy dog. I don't know where Walter is. I think he's chasing squirrels at the moment. But he is on my website, and he is with me every day when I'm in the office. And the publisher, National Center for Youth Issues, was kind enough to put him in the book. So you will see Walter. This is a very personal book to me because Walter seems to be with me all the time, and he's in the book. So there's Marcy and there's Walter. And we start out here, and she said, and with Marcy wanted to be happy. Happy is all she wanted to be. But she had so many other feelings too. And they would show up at the worst times. They would greet her in the start of each morning and follow her around during the day. And some days she felt overwhelmed and just wanted to hide from them all. And you can see as Marcy wakes up, her feelings are right there. I'm kind of like that. When I wake up in the morning, I immediately know how I feel, and it seems like my feelings are waiting for me. Looks like Walter is also looking at the feelings, kind of going, here you are again. Let me move it around this way. Okay. One morning, when Marcy's alarm clock blared, she opened her eyes to Frustrated, who was looking right at her. "No," Marcy said, "not you again." And you can see here that Frustrated is staying on her alarm clock, and Walter is hiding. This is kind of Walter in the morning. He's like, "Do we have to get up yet?" And she's saying, "No, not you again. I don't want to get up." So she's telling Frustrated to go away. And then if you look at this one, and then when her brother Peter barged into her room without asking, there sat Angry on his shoulder. "Go away," Marcy yelled at them both. And you can see Angry on his shoulder. Oftentimes we have Angry and we don't want to deal with that either. We think, I don't want to be angry. I just want to be happy. This day was not off to a good start. Her feelings were already starting to feel like too much. And if you can see her here in the background of the kitchen, her feelings are kind of everywhere. And you can see her family kind of having a nice time. I don't know if you've ever felt like that everyone was happy except for you. And you're kind of in a grumpy mood and you really don't want to talk to anybody because everyone else seems to be doing better than you are. Where is Happy? Marcy wondered about her favorite feeling as she walked into school. She hadn't seen or felt her all morning. And you see she's looking around saying, "Where is Happy?" Looks like the other kids are having feelings, but she doesn't see Happy, and that's the only one she wants. And sometimes it feels that way. It's like, where are the good things? Where are the good feelings? During math, Mrs. Bennett handed back the pop quiz from Friday. Marcy smiled at the big circled A on the top. "Oh, there you are, Happy." Marcy's heart felt like it grew in her chest. "I'm so happy you are here. Please don't go away again," Marcy begged. "I don't feel like myself when you aren't around." Happy Happy sighed. She was tired of being so needed. It's like Marcy only wants Happy to be there, and Happy's like, I need a break sometimes. At recess, Marcy's friends ran off, leaving her on the swings all by herself. Sad sat on her swing beside her. Please leave me alone, Marcy said, as her eyes filled with tears. And you can see she's turned away from Sad. She doesn't even want to be around Sad. She says, leave me alone. I don't want to see you. When Mrs. Bennet called for Marcy to answer a question during reading, Marcy answered incorrectly, and her cheeks turned bright pink. See, Marcy? She's wanting to hide. If you've ever felt that way, you've said something in class and you feel embarrassed and you just want to hide, want to be invisible. There was Embarrassed sitting right on Miss Bennet's desk, looking at her. Marcy glared at Embarrassed and sank down into her seat, knowing other people were staring at her too. And look at Embarrassed, right up there with Miss Marcy. Social studies quiz tomorrow, everyone, Mrs. Bennet announced to the class at the last bell that afternoon. Quiz? Marcy's heart started beating fast. I forgot about the quiz. Worried followed her down the hall, chewing on her pencil as she walked. Why do you make me feel so anxious? I don't like it when you show up. Marcy walked faster to create some distance between herself and Worried. As you can see, Worried has a bunch of question marks on her, and Worried often makes us have a lot of questions. We wonder, will it ever work out okay? Will somebody like me? What if I don't, am I going to pass the test? You can see Marcy's trying to get away from Worried. Basically, Marcy only wants Happy, and so she's running from the other feelings. That evening, Peter got to watch his favorite show, and Marcy didn't. Hey, that's not fair, Marcy pouted. Jealous just stood there with her hands on her hips, and Marcy scowled at her. Marcy didn't like feeling envious of her brother and wished Jealous would just go away. And you can see Jealous right there. Looks like Walter is really enjoying the show, but Marcy's jealous. She's saying, I don't get to do the things you get to do. Sometimes our siblings are one of our the reasons that we have the most feelings is because siblings get to do stuff we don't, and then we start to feel angry at them or jealous. That night, as Marcy lay in her bed, she tossed and turned. This had been the worst day. She thought about all the bad things that happened and how she had barely felt happy. When she opened her eyes, she saw all of her feelings standing by her bed or sitting on the floor. And as you can see, she's thinking about her whole day, all of the things that happened, embarrassed in class, swinging by herself, trying to get away from Worried, mad at her brother Peter. And then she's just sitting there and her feelings, they're with her, sitting right there, going through her day with her. Sometimes when we think back to our day, our feelings will come back. The same feeling we had when we were in that time, at that very time, when we think about it later, that same feeling will come back. She was angry, sad, and jealous, and worried, embarrassed, and frustrated. And of course, Happy was there too. But all of the other feelings seemed so much bigger than Happy. They all felt so big and overwhelming. It was too much for Marcy to handle. And look at her. She's just trying to hide from all of her feelings. If you'll see, Happy is over here on the bookshelf, just way over. And you can see sad is very big, and angry, and jealous, and worried. And Marcy's just trying to hide. I wish you'd all just leave me alone. Marcy pulled the covers over her head, ignoring them. So let's see if they listened. She asked them, leave me alone. Or actually, she told them, leave me alone. Let's see if they did. The next day, something seemed different. None of Marcy's feelings greeted her when she woke up that morning, or as she went about her day. And Marcy began to feel empty. And if you see, you remember how in the beginning of the story when she woke up, she had frustrated right there at the alarm clock, and her feelings were all around her? She wakes up and they're not there. It's probably a little bit different for her. She wakes up completely by herself. I don't even see Walter there. Maybe Walter's with her feelings in another room, but he's not even with her. Frustrated, who always showed up when she forgot to do her homework, wasn't there. And as you see right here, she's looking, her head's turning both ways, like, where are you, Frustrated? And embarrassed wasn't beside her when she tripped on her way to school. Where are you, embarrassed? Not there. Sad didn't show up when her friends forgot to meet her in the hallway. Even Happy was nowhere to be found when Marcy was chosen to be the class helper for the day. Not one single feeling was with her the entire day. And Marcy realized that not feeling anything was worse than feeling everything. And as you can see, she's walking by herself, she feels alone, and it feels completely different. You know, if we want one feeling to go away, often we want all of them to go away. To have any of the feelings, you have to have all of them. And I think Marcy's realizing this right now. She's saying, where are you? I'm very lonely. That night, Marcy sat on her bed. Where are you guys? She asked. But no one responded. Then she asked again, feelings? Are you there? Look, Walter's kind of cuddling her. He's laying his head right on her lap, trying to make her feel better. He's probably wondering too, where are all those feelings? Angry slowly stepped out from the closet. Oh, you, Marcy frowned. I was looking for Happy. Of course, she doesn't want Angry to be there, so she seems very frustrated that Angry's right there. One by one, all of her feelings stepped out from their hiding spots. First Angry, and then sad and frustrated and jealous and embarrassed, and then worried. Finally, Happy stepped to the center of the room. Happy, you're back, Marcy said. She ran to give Happy a big hug. Look at her. She said, you're the only one I wanted anyway. Not so fast, Marcy, Happy said, lifting her hand. Look at her. She's stopping her. She's like, oh no, we're not going to go back to the way things were. If you want me around, you're going to have the others too. Her voice was kind but firm. But the others don't make me feel good inside, Marcy said. Angry makes me want to hit, and sad makes me want to cry. Jealous makes me want to push my brother, and embarrassed makes me want to run away and hide. Worried makes my stomach hurt, and frustrated wants me to say mean things. Happy, you're the only one who makes me feel myself. I understand, said Happy. It's normal to feel that way. But the truth is, you won't feel happy all the time. You're going to feel many things each day, and that's okay. If a friend hurts your feelings, it's normal to feel sad. Or if you don't do well on a test you studied hard for, it's okay to feel frustrated. Feeling those things means you care about how people treat you and that you want to do your best. Oh, I didn't think of it that way, Marcy said. The good news is your feelings don't have to control you. And they don't last forever, Happy explained. You can feel them for a bit, and then they can go away. So it's interesting that Happy is the one that teaches her about the other feelings. Happy says it's not reasonable to think you're happy all the time. Happy took Marcy by the hand and turned to face all of the other feelings. Marcy, this is anger. You two can be friends. Hi, nice to meet you. Marcy held out her hand, and anger shook it. Then Marcy met all the other feelings too. No one yelled or made her feel terrible. Embarrassed was shy but funny. Frustrated made the goofiest faces, and jealous was always trying to get everyone's attention. Worried was good at telling stories, and sad was an excellent listener. Angry made silly sounds, and Happy's eyes lit up when she smiled. Marcy watched them and realized each of her feelings had a function, and she could see the good in them. Frustrated could help her work hard. Jealous could teach her patience. Embarrassed could help her be sure of herself, and sad could help her have empathy for others. This changes everything! Marcy's new revelation surprised even herself. She was no longer afraid of her feelings. She actually made friends with them. The next morning, Frustrated showed up when Marcy's alarm clock didn't go off. You can see frustrated down here. And she woke up late. Instead of telling him to go away, she said, "Good morning, frustrated. I'm in a hurry to get ready, but I'll see you later." Sad and happy both showed up at lunch when she didn't get to sit by her best friend, but the cafeteria was serving her favorite food, pizza. And you look right here, it's possible to have two feelings at the same time. You may get something that you want, like pizza, but then you don't get to sit with your friend. So, happy about pizza, sad about not getting to see your friend. But look, she's handling it okay, and she even gets to wave. She's like, "Hey, maybe I'll sit with you tomorrow." Jealous sat down at the table when her brother got the best piece of dessert after dinner. And you can see he does have a better piece of dessert. His piece is bigger than hers. But instead of snapping at her brother, Marcy said, "Hey, jealous, maybe we'll get the best piece tomorrow." Each of her feelings showed up that day, along with her two new feelings named peaceful and confident. Isn't that amazing? She has two new feelings now. Do you know that as you get older, you'll have even more feelings? Sometimes you'll have an experience that you've never had before, and you have a new feeling that you didn't even know existed. You're kind of like, "What is this feeling?" Now, peaceful and confident. But Marcy didn't feel overwhelmed. By accepting them, each as they came, she was learning to manage her emotions and not let her feelings take control. She actually felt glad they were there by her side, because she knew that to feel happy, the others needed to have a place too. That night, as Marcy turned out her light, she called out to all her feeling friends. "Good night, sad, angry, and frustrated. Good night, peaceful and confident. Good night, worried, jealous, and embarrassed. And finally, good night, happy." And in the glow of her lamp, Marcy saw them, and each friendly voice called back, "Good night." And this time she was glad to hear their reply. The end. The very back of the book, if you have the book, are tips for parents and teachers. But now we're going to get to the activities. I think it's really important, and when I wrote this book, I wanted to help kids understand that it's okay to have feelings. And sometimes, whenever kids are angry or they're frustrated or worried, they want feelings to go away. I'm the same way. When I feel worried, I want it to go away. And I have to catch myself and realize, it's okay. I can feel worried for a little bit. It's going to go away. A new feeling will come. These are some activities that you can do. You can go to my website at AllisonJEdwards.com, and you will see under resources, you will see a free bundle. As I said earlier in this, a free bundle of activities. We're going to look through this today, and I'm going to pick one that you guys might want to do after this video, and that way you can kind of do this at home with your family. This is called Draw Your Feelings Worksheet. And I have already been working on that because I wanted to show you how my feelings look. So it says, draw your feelings at the top. Let me move my video so you can see this. And it says, what do your feelings look like? Are they big or small? What color are they? Do they wear a funny hat? Draw a picture of one or more of your feelings. And I went ahead and did that because I wanted to kind of show you what my feelings look like. If you can see the top, this is what sad looks like to me. And sad is just kind of like a boring, sort of simple, frowny face. It's kind of like, I don't really feel good right now. It's not a very loud, it's more like a quiet. My feeling of sad is pretty quiet. When you look at angry, angry to me has big ears and a big hat and a crooked mouth. When I get angry, I feel bigger. I feel like I'm a bigger person than I am. So I feel like I may be having big ears and my mouth is big and maybe I have like a big hat on. When that feeling comes, anger sometimes feels to me so big and it's very hard to control. Because when you're angry, you feel like you have no control of what's going to happen. The truth is you do have control. You have more control than you think. And then worry. This is the feeling that I have the most. And if you were here last week for Worry Says What, I talked about having worries myself. So usually, of all of the feelings, I will have the biggest feeling as worried. And when I drew worried here, I drew worried having a tongue sticking out because sometimes I feel like worry says to me, nah, 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 here you are again. And also, worried has this crazy hair and the big eyes. Whenever I feel worried, my eyes, I feel like they're really big and I'm looking out and wondering what's going to happen next. So, what you can do now is go to my website, download, as I said, at AllisonJEdwards.com, the resource section, and then download the free bundle, and you can do this at home. You can fill this out. Another thing you can do, which I have kids do often in my office, is I have kids make their feeling out of clay. And this is a great thing to do. So you could choose, just like in the book, all the feelings look different. You could use Play-Doh or Model Magic, any kind of clay, and you can choose one of the feelings and make that feeling out of clay. And in my office, I have different feelings that you can look at. And so my feeling of worry is, I call him Freddie, and he has big eyes just like this, and he's made out of clay. And I keep him on my desk to remind myself that Freddie's going to come and go. So I encourage you to draw this or use clay. And I hope you guys enjoyed this activity. I hope that you have a wonderful Friday, and I'll see you soon.